Okay, so now that Elite Dangerous is actually launched, I thought I'd take the opportunity to recreate the videos, update all my custom bind files and target profiles, just to make sure they work okay with the version 1 release. So I've already updated the files now on the website, so they're live. I'm just going to finish off the video and upload that. So. Third time lucky this, because the quality has been absolutely appalling up till now, so hopefully this will be better. So first things first, you need to launch the target GUI. This is where the configuration goes. This is what runs in the background of Elite Dangerous while you're actually in game. So first thing is first. Actually, the second thing should be first, and the second thing is actually to go and download the binding file. So I've already done that, so you should get this Elite Dangerous target profile FCF file, and within that will be the file we use for the target profile. Extract that to somewhere where you want. I've actually got a folder, I can't find it now, I've got a folder down here anyway that I've extracted it to. So what we need to do now is get that into target. So we're going to go to edit configuration. I'm going to select the profile, and here you can see that we've got the joystick and the throttle enabled. I don't have any of the other controllers here. Generally, you don't need to do anything on this page. The axes tend to map correctly. If you do get odd behavior in game, come check this. Just make sure that the axes haven't been reassigned. You haven't accidentally kind of moved them over or something. So and then we've got the main configuration. So as you say, there isn't a huge amount of configuration I've done, and I've also only created configuration for the throttle. The actual joystick itself, certainly the way I use it, seems absolutely fine. So I tended not to do that. So you can obviously look at these yourselves in a bit more detail. So things like silent running, for instance, here on the EFR norm button, when you flick the switch, which actually maps to a keyboard command of Q, the silent run is enabled. Now in this instance, it's actually a hold command. So when you go to the configuration mapping, you need to change it from toggle to hold, and then whilst the switch is actually in the on position, it will always keep silent running enabled. And just for an extra little bit of bling, what I've done here is map the third LED on the throttle unit to come on once you've enabled that. Bling is probably about the best way I've described them. They're not really that useful. They're kind of in the way if you've got any kind of throttle on, so I tend not to use them too much. I was just really playing around. So anyway, so if you're actually going to change these around, there's a useful utility in here. Obviously you can run the configuration, and then you can get to the event tester. So the event tester actually enables you to test out what you're doing to make sure it's mapping and working correctly. So for instance here, I'm going to press the button to deploy the cargo scoop, I think, in that instance. Some of the others. So you obviously can test they work okay. So I'm going to stop that for now. So the next thing to do here is obviously finish what you're doing. That saves the configuration into the target GUI software, and you want to yes to accept any changes. So you've now got that configuration file. So if we quit the GUI and relaunch it, you'll find that will automatically be there on the left hand side now in your list of configuration files. And literally just before you run Elite Dangerous, you need to select it, click run. The script kicks off in the background, and that's it. That's all you need to do. You just leave that running, minimize it if you really want to, and then you just go to Elite Dangerous, click play, and off you go. So next thing we'll do is we'll go into Elite Dangerous and we'll start configuring the actual profile, or the key bindings, rather the joystick bindings in this case, and get that element done as well. Okay, so here we are in Elite Dangerous. So what we're going to do now is go straight into options, into controls, and we're going to create a control. So first thing I do is start with an empty control, so we don't get any historical stuff or any issues with any other pre-created presets or anything like that. And then basically we're just going to go through here and map the controls based on the diagrams that are also on the forum post. So I'm just going to go through these. So I won't set for now because I have a set of Cytec pedals, but I appreciate not everybody will have those. So the custom bind file I'll generate after this won't have that yaw setting, so it'd be something that you'll just have to do once you've loaded the custom bind file. So first thing we're going to do is change the roll axis. So for this you need to actually roll to the right. There we go. Might help if I actually press the right button there. The reason for that is if you roll to the left, as soon as you launch the game, you'll find that you're actually rolling in the wrong direction. So same with the pitch. The pitch we're actually going to pitch forward because of exactly the same issue. Obviously you could do it the other way, but you'd have to come back in here and change it and invert it, that kind of thing. So basically now I'll shut up and just enter all these. If there's anything I need to mention, I will mention it. So this is one I think somebody suggested on the forums actually, is to bind the thrust forward and backwards onto the lever to the right of the throttle unit, which has got the increment and decrement axis. So if I just set that there, that should work fine. Okay, so we've just mapped the throttle axis. What I tend to do now is change that to forward only. So fully back on the throttle is essentially zero throttle, and fully forward is 100%. If you map it in the middle, I find it a little bit hard to get a sort of zero speed option. So. My preference here is to use that as a toggle for the disable flight assist, so I don't have to keep the pinky switch in at all times. Okay, this is something that changed from premium beta to release. I don't know. I never had chance to get into standard beta or the gammas, unfortunately, so I don't know if this was here as well. So enable frame shift drive. So I'm actually mapping that now to the what is the autopilot engage disengage button. I haven't actually spent a lot of time testing this, but it seems to be working fine, where obviously if you have a system targeted, it will engage hyperspace. Otherwise, Super Cruise, if you've got a space station or something like that targeted. So That's another one actually, the secondary fire. I prefer mine on the red button that's on the top of the joystick. I know a few people have discussed it when you depress the fire button, when you get right close to the stick, there is actually a secondary button press. I tend not to like that if you've got maybe missiles set on secondary fire. You know, I don't necessarily want to be firing my primary weapon as well, so I tend to split them. But you know, obviously that's something you guys can decide on your own. So this is the first one actually. So when you flick the switch for silent running, you'll notice that nothing actually happens. You have to actually put the switch back to the off position for it to actually trigger rather. And then what you need to do is change that to hold. And then basically, as you flick the switch, it will enable silent running. As you flick the switch back to off position, it should disable that. Cargo scoop is another one actually, where when you enable it, it does nothing. You disable it and it registers. And again, change that to hold, and that way when you flick the cargo scoop button, it will always remain deployed. So you know, potentially even if if you flick the button while you're in the space station, you know, you come out and launch, it will automatically deploy again. So it's quite a neat feature, one you need to be aware of though. So this is one I've just changed recently. So shield cell and chaff launcher are two fairly new options, certainly not ones I've seen before. So I've actually mapped them to what was the old frame shift and hyperdrive buttons. So I haven't actually mapped my comms here. One of the reasons is the down on that little joystick control. I've actually mapped to head look. Then you can use the tiny little joystick that's on the throttle control. Now I may well change that in the future. I may well try and bind the comms panel to something else, but certainly for now I've not done that. So head look actually is the next one. These two are actually quite a bit of a pain to map at times. The little mouse button that's on the throttle there is actually quite tricky to map. So it also supports a button press, but it's almost impossible to press it to enable head lock on and off, which I think is what I had in one of my previous controls. And there we go. Okay, one slight change which I noticed, I've just been and tested this, so the throttle axis needs to be set to invert on, otherwise you end up with full throttle being in the off position. One final bit of configuration is is what to do with the custom bind file. So obviously there's a lot of talk about it. There's quite a lot of forum threads that reference this custom bind file, but there aren't actually that many that tell you what to do with it or where they should live. So what we're going to do is just open up Windows Explorer here. So I've actually downloaded the custom bind file. So you'll see in here. So extract that to some place of your choice. And then you need to go to the C drive, users, and choose your username of the logged in user, and then app data. You can see here actually it's a hidden folder. I've got hidden folders enabled, so if you don't see it, certainly under Windows 8, if you go to view, there's a hidden items button here, which makes it disappear. So we enable that. We'll go into application data. We want local, and then frontier space developments. I seem to have a frontier underscore developments, which I suspect is maybe a hangover from some of the early beta installs I had. So certainly frontier space developments, elite dangerous and options, and then finally bindings. So in here, you normally don't get a zip file. That's the version I've uploaded onto my thread. So that's the custom bind file you need to replace. So the one that you've downloaded, or you just literally copy over the top of that. If it doesn't exist, obviously just copy it into here. Whenever you launch Elite Dangerous, you just make sure that the controller mappings are set to custom, and then these should automatically be done for you. I think, as I explained in earlier part of the video, yaw is probably the one thing or certainly the one thing I've left out of this. I have a set of pedals that I use, but I should not everybody uses yaw at all. Certainly, if you've got yaw on roll enabled. So that's it basically. Go enjoy Elite Dangerous. Let me know what you think. The forum thread will be there. I've added quite a lot of other extras into the thread now. So I've added the original blank warthog even charts, and for the joystick and the throttle, and also my Photoshop edited files as well. So go enjoy. Thank you.